Okay, everybody. Every once in a while, I get to host what I think is an extraordinary interview, and I am here with Andrew Lee. Andrew, what service are you in?
I'm in the Tennessee National Guard.
And did you do your 4 years and you're done?
No.
Because you were Army first, right?
I was active duty, did 10 years, got out for a year, and joined the National Guard. Been in the National Guard for 8 years.
So what's your total mileage right now?
I'm at 18 years.
And are you going to 20, you're done?
No. I just re-enlisted for 6 more, and I'm probably going to go to 32.
Thank you. On behalf of everybody, thank you. Now, you're a quilter, and you have kind of an unusual story. This quilt behind us, Mary Kay will drop in a picture of it, is extraordinary.
I originally had entered a quilt in the quilt show, and I won the Novice Award.
Yay!
It was my 4th quilt I ever did. It was a stained glass window-ish from my mother-in-law, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be in the gambit with all the rest of these women who've been quilting for 30 and 40 years. How do I compete with that? I'm going to have to do something extraordinary. So in order to do extraordinary, let's think of 1-inch squares. It turned out that the image that I wanted to portray was something that people actually stood back and realized that was like jaw-dropping, iconic image that everybody will know. So I chose Iwo Jima. It just so happened that the only way to get it in good detail was to do it 110 by 110.
Oh, gee. It's fabulous, fabulous. Good job. Are you in now? Are you in the A group?
I don't know.
Tell me about quilting in your life.
It became a hobby, an outlet to try to control my PTSD. I originally took a class, got addicted, and it became something more.
Well, you know what? We don't understand that at all. That doesn't happen to any of us. So what made you take a quilting class?
My wife said we didn't do enough together.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, what are we going to do together that we don't already do? We go out to eat, we go visit your parents. So one day I beat her home from work, opened the mailbox, and there was a Joanne flyer that said 2-for-1 quilted table runner. I thought, okay, winner, winner, chicken dinner, here we go. I'm going to make one for my mom, she can make one for her mom, we did it together. I'm like the greatest man in 3 women's eyes all at once.
Right on, baby.
So we went and took the class, I did really good, and I liked it. So we went back to, I wanted to make a quilt. I thought if I can make a table runner, I can make a quilt. So we went back to the fabric store, and that's when I ran into Dennis and Doylene Taylor, who are the Quilts of Valor leaders for North Knoxville.
Okay.
They invited me to join a men's group, which 3 of the 6 were veterans.
Okay. How did quilting speak to your PTSD?
It gave me purpose.
Okay.
So people who do something with their hand, whether it be woodworking or sewing or quilting or gardening, something that you have a physical result of in the end, your chances of healing are 46% greater than any other therapy that you can do or receive.
Wow. Now, in setting up, I learned that you're involved with Quilts of Valor and that there are men groups of Quilts of Valor. Tell us a little bit about that. I did not know that.
There are some of us who gather to make Quilts of Valor because we've been there and know what the struggles are like and know that a quilt can make a difference in someone's life. So there's, it's a veteran group,
Well, Rob Appel, he does California, right?
He does. He's involved with, he did that wonderful Iwo Jima quilt as well. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I realized that he was doing more, that quilt is on tour with a whole bunch of other Quilts of Valor and is all over the United States.
Okay, now this is a Quilts of Valor here. Tell me let's hold it up so everybody can see it. And you made this, right?
I did.
Boy, it's heavy, Andrew. It is heavy. Look at that. There's people watching. What do you guys think? Yeah? Awesome. We have an audience here. Okay, tell me about this quilt. What's its fate? What's its journey?
There's a gentleman who, during a mortar attack in November of 2005, moved us from one building to another after the first building that we were in got hit with mortars. So as we got to the 3rd location that he moved us from, the first one was completely flattened. So I'm awarding it to him today.
Does he know?
He has no idea.
Okay now. Thank you so much for your service. thank you. My dad was in the Navy, and I don't understand because I've never served, but I do appreciate everything the men and women do for us. So thank you so much. Now the other thing, he does share a space with his wife. Coming up, we're going to talk about that. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I would be remiss to not have a second interview with Christy and Andrew because they are quilters that share a space, all right? So let's talk about this, because you sewed before you guys went to Joanne's and took this table runner class. By the way, were the moms happy?
Oh yeah, my mom still has it out all the time.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So tell us a little bit about you.
So I sewed for a couple of years before he did, and I did, purses and wallets and little girls' dresses and just like little things like that. I really wasn't interested in quilting because I was a little intimidated by it.
Okay.
I just thought it was going to be too hard, and I can do math. All the equations of it, I was just intimidated by it. So
Okay.
I'm just not going to do it.
But
So,
then you guys went there and you got hooked right away. What about you?
I had a lot of fun doing it. I still was a little intimidated by it, but I was like, oh, these are 2.5-inch strips. That's good. I can do this.
I can do
And
that.
So, yeah. So then he started doing it, and I was like, well, I'm going to do a quilt too. And so my first quilt I did was a triangle quilt.
Okay,
That
so
was a little
you had like a
intense.
sewing room, like a bedroom, right? And so did you like then quilt in the dining room?
No, she said I could come into the room and
Wow.
sew, and her
You're-
parents. Her parents actually bought me a sewing table to put in the
They
room.
did.
Okay.
And it was a little crammed because we have 3 dogs that like wanted to be in there too, and then bookcases of fabric. And I was like, okay, so you can come in there. You just can't touch my Halloween fabric or my Christmas fabric. And if you can ask, I probably won't let you, but you can ask.
Okay. Well, what about sewing machine?
My table was here and his was like, we're facing each other. So, I mean, it worked, but if I needed to get in the closet, I was like, please move, I got to get in the closet. So there was kind of some bickering a little bit just because it was so confined.
But then
we knocked out a wall and we have this huge space. I mean, our sewing table's 8 foot by 4 foot, so it's huge, and we haven't fought
Not at
yet.
all. No.
so it's good.
do you interact with each other's work? In other words, will you look up and say, hey, Christy, I think I moved blah, 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 or do you mind your own beeswax?
No, it's collaboration.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't touch her stuff, but we talk about it.
You know, when my daughter went off to college, excuse me, my husband said, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. Don't touch other people's stuff. And I would say that's true in sharing a studio, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been quilting, you two?
3 years.
3 years.
How long have you been married?
3 years.
3 years.
We've been together
Wow.
for 7, and we got married. We've been married for 3 years in May. So. Or not May, I'm sorry. Yeah, May.
It doesn't
May.
get better,
Okay.
Christy. It doesn't get better. I love that you guys have been married 3 years and that basically you've started your quilting journey out together. I think that's fabulous. I can't wait to see what's coming up, huh?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, like, because he does the Quilt of Valor, and he's inspired me to want to do Quilt of Valor. Because I honestly was like, I don't think I'm good enough to do it. And him doing all these quilts, and giving back, it just made me want to do it too. So now I've started quilting for Quilt of Valor as well.
So I'm just going to put out a little infomercial here. Find the local Quilts of Valor group in your area. They're everywhere. And I will tell you, I've been to some of the ceremonies where they have awarded. Wow. And it's a lovely way to say thank you to people. So thank you, you guys. I'm so glad we've met. This is a winner. As you said, chicken dinner. Okay.